This episode contains adult content and additional content warnings in the show notes. Hello everyone, welcome back to Sounds Like Crows. Music on the show is provided by Rudy Zuniga, Levi Rojas, James Quinn, or myself. Huge thank you to everyone that makes this show possible, which of course is our lovely patrons. Thank you to Ethan Saperstein, Moscal, Tim Ruiz, Matt Birch, and David Hayes, along with the classics Kirby, Matt Stevens, Gary Oswald, Jonathan Turner, Jared, Kyle Neese, Ariel Weiss, Greg Gray. Thank you all so much. And with all of that out of the way, welcome back to the Weird West. The wooden wheels, coupled with the uneven, muddy trail headed south, make the interior of the stagecoach a unpleasant experience, to say the least. The curtains have been pulled shut, a few of them nailed shut by the most unruly of the crows, as we see like a wide shot of this desert that you can't really make any detail out in, just dark clouds and even darker skies above this featureless landscape. The occasional lightning bolt in the far distance barely gives a sound into the interior of the stagecoach that we cut inside. Reno takes the hat off her head and wrings it out in her hands, dropping water onto the already sopping wet and muddy floor. She sits back in her side of the seat. It's certainly a crowded place in here, guys. There are 7 of you scrunched inside of this stagecoach, the 5 crows and then the Clanton twins. Reno looks up with sort of a brightness behind her eyes, Thaddeus, that I think none of you or your brothers possess. You can see parts of yourself, Thaddeus, reflected in her face. She's about the same age as you were when you left home, maybe 14 or 15. She's still got childlike facial features with quite a few scars on them that look maybe like 6 months old, maybe one's a year old. Just these bright white contrasting marks in her skin of either knife wounds, bullet wounds, or some other touch of violence. She looks to you, and maybe you're like shuffling a deck in your hand or something.
When was the last time I had like an actual deck of cards, dude?
Whoa,
right?
That's true.
Because didn't Abel throw it off into the water at some point, like months ago?
Well, y'all were in Flagstaff for a bit. You were in there for a week, and I think you did some gambling.
I did. And I have the poverty hindrance. So, like, I had to lose that money somehow.
Yeah, for real.
So, yeah, I probably got another deck of cards.
Okay, cool. It's a bit cutter fresh, maybe. And maybe you're wearing it in, either shuffling it in your hands constantly, or I don't know, what does that look like?
Lots of shuffling. Bridges likes to sort of fold the cards on themselves, so do those side cuts, just making sure that all the edges and faces of the cards are really getting some wear in, and then he'll shuffle them out and sort of give himself a hand and pick them back up, flip them into his hand and shuffle some more. Just sort of boards it in his stagecoach, trying to distract himself.
Reno slaps her hat on her trousers and then places it back on her head. I think it's a dark maroon, and the rest of her clothes are similarly dark. She's got a real Anakin Attack of the Clones vibe. Lots of dark brown and black leather, but gray riding boots that are quite long. I guess she does not have a pistol?
Didn't she take one last time?
She had Harper's, but she gave it back.
Cool.
Hey, Thaddeus, Uncle Thaddeus, how back in that town did you get us from that roof up into this stagecoach?
Yeah, good question.
Thaddeus sort of grunted, acknowledging her question for a moment, and keeps shuffling. Doesn't really make any eye contact with her. Well, we got there, didn't we?
Hannibal speaks up. They're twins, so his face is pretty similar to hers, kind of a roundish oval. He's got less scars on his face. He's probably lighter by 20 pounds, even though he's a few inches taller than her at like 5'9".
Yeah, but I think she's asking like, that wasn't natural. You got some sort of ability, right?
Well, I thought y'all were outlaws, Sid. We jumped down. I threw you in the carriage when you were there.
I'm not saying I got a problem with it or anything.
No, we're not ungrateful, Thaddeus. I'm just asking, how did you do it? 'cause it was pretty cool.
If Thaddeus were to glance up, the sheer strength of the daggers that Abel is glaring at him would make it very clear Abel's opinion on discussing magics and huckstering with his children. But Thaddeus probably isn't looking.
Yeah.
Or
carried.
In my head, I'm probably sitting next to Ellis, and she's across from me sitting with Hannibal, and I'm feeling like Abel or Lucky are the two that are sitting on that side crammed in. So maybe Harper's got his arm hung out the other side or something. And so he sort of glances up at Reno and does sort of take a glance to look around, and he catches those daggers. And then a giant grin crosses over his face. Well, like I said, we were on the roof. I got us down in there, and I threw you in the carriage.
My memory is not that bad. We were on the roof, and then a second later, we were in the stagecoach. Now, I've heard...
Listen, that's the best answer you're gonna get.
Don't let Harper get all dark clouds on us. I'm just known a few tricks is all. And play some cards. I could show you sometime.
Hannibal's eyes light up.
You a hex slinger? You know hexes?
Oh, well, I guess if that's what you want to call them, if there's a name. I'm more of just a practitioner of hands of fate of sorts. It looks a lot like poker.
Hey,
so,
Thaddeus.
Yeah.
I don't think they're interested in learning that, nor should you be interested in teaching it.
I think I agree with Lucky on this one, Thaddeus.
Oh, well, it's interesting that nobody asked either of you.
This is a conversation between Thaddeus and me and my brother. Doesn't really have anything to do with you, but thanks, Lucky.
Hey, I tell you what, you want to gamble away your soul and damn yourself to hell, fucking go for it. It's what the rest of us did.
You can do that?
Yeah, go directly to hell.
Shut the fuck up, Harper.
No, you got to lose those games before you go to hell.
No,
Hannibal.
you go straight to hell.
I don't think, son, you have any interest in this.
Hannibal looks like he's going to say something. He looks at Abel like there's an anger behind his eyes, but when he meets your gaze, you can see the frog catch in his throat, and then Reno like pushes in and says,
How do you know what we want?
'Cause I ain't a dumbass who got arrested.
Harper leans over and nudges Hannibal. If you got something to say, boy, say it.
Why'd you come for us?
Oh, that's a damn good question.
Reno sits back, arms crossed, that kind of smirk on her face teenagers give just to annoy parents.
The shot is from across the stagecoach at these four figures sitting there. Abel, Hannibal, Reno, Lucky. Abel's head slowly turns from his children towards the window, and he sits in silence for a long moment as they all jostle and move, bouncing on that awkward springboard suspension. As the silence drags on, it becomes clear he has no intention of answering that question.
You guys are family, and that's good enough, right?
I guess I'm just confused because, our whole lives, you've told us you're responsible for your own actions and you got to drag yourself out of whatever trouble you get into. And then suddenly we're rustlers and you show up to save us. What happened to your judgeship? They kick you out because you're such a horrible son of a bitch?
Pretty much.
I knew it. So what? What, you need a couple of criminals to help you out with whatever the fuck you want to do leading up to the end of your life? What is it, Dad?
Ellis, what's the name of that casino?
Mine? Bullseye.
You two are going to the Bullseye. Talk to his wife. You're going to start your life again there.
Oh, okay. So we can break the rules because we're your kids. I mean, yeah, it makes sense to me.
Listen, you break as many rules as you want, but I doubt we're going to be around to bail you out next time.
We didn't need bailing out.
You did. You was going to end up on the end of a rope in about 45 minutes.
I don't know. We would have ended up in that jail for a month or two. Didn't have any intention of killing us, looked like. We could have pulled ourselves out. Gang would have come back for us.
Nah, the gang wouldn't have come back for you, and the town just waited so long because they felt bad about hanging kids.
We're not kids.
Nah, you are.
When did you leave home then?
Oh, I was about your age, actually. Yeah, what are you, like 14? 15?
15 and a half.
Yeah, well, no, I left. And I can tell you, I wound up with all kinds. They say they'll help you out. They'll show you the ropes. They teach you things. But you are most certainly the first person they will forget about as soon as it's inconvenient for them to have you around.
You seem pretty inconvenient, let me tell you, for the trouble we went through to get you. So, that was it, kid.
Lucky abruptly turns to Abel. How come you never told him that you have brothers?
It's 'cause he hates himself. Every ounce of his being. And he knows it. Everything connected to it.
Without breaking his stare out the window, Abel responds to Lucky, seemingly ignoring Thaddeus along the way. They had no need to know. Not yet. They would have, I would have told them, same as I would have told you.
What do you mean, no need to know? Everyone needs to know that they got family. That's half the goddamn reason we're out here.
Think I want them mixed up in your shit? Or yours, Harper?
Listen, before all this shit happened, there weren't no better business to get mixed up in than Lucky's. He's the only one that had his nose clean. They would have done better knowing him, I'll tell you that much.
I did what was best.
Well, present circumstances say probably otherwise there.
Yeah, I suppose so. Fine. You two have never faced the sting of real consequence in your life. Is that what you're asking for? You want to be adults? You want to do what you think is best? I told you what to do. You run in them rules, you do the right things. You'll be fine. And here you are, cutting your way across the desert, doing everything I ever told you not to. Doing everything I ever asked you to stay away from. And now you're here, feeling like you got no consequences for it.
Reno looks at Abel's degenerated, aged face with a tight smile.
Oh, your way's working out just fine, ain't it?
Maybe that's why you ought to listen to him. These are lessons he learned.
If you think Abel ever learned a thing in his life, you don't know Abel.
Well, then listen to me. Harper makes strong eye contact with Reno. Look at me. You think I ain't seen hell? You think I hadn't learned from my mistakes? You don't wind up like this. And he reaches out that mechanical arm and taps the mechanisms in his empty eye socket. Without going through some pain and learning a few things. You don't stop doing what you're doing, you're going to end up like me or worse. Like him. Harper points over towards Abel. That's what you're going to be like if you don't learn. Using your own logic.
Suddenly, Abel, seemingly frustrated, turns from the window, leans forward and stares across the two twins in the middle to make eye contact with Lucky. The reason I did not want them around you, me, or anybody else is they need to be as far away from Hiram as they possibly can. Ain't a bigger piece of shit. And every one of us is just a little piece broken off. So you know what? Anytime they spend with you, Harp, Thaddeus over there, or even you, Ellis, that's one more chance to pull them back in. I tried to give them a clean break.
Yeah, you always talk.
Shut the fuck up.
Silence from across the wagon.
I wasn't strong enough to do that before, and I apologize. It's the only time you're going to hear that out of me. I'm sorry. I should have done this a long time ago. He punches Hannibal as hard as he can.
Make a fighting roll.
Where are you punching him?
In the face.
You piece of shit.
Both sixes blew up.
Oh, no.
A 6 blew up
You
again.
piece of shit.
16 on the fighting roll.
A D8 and a D6 damage.
9.
Hannibal takes a level of fatigue.
As Hannibal's head snaps back and bounces off the wooden wall, Abel's eyes turn to Reno. You said you wanted consequences? And he punches her too.
I think as he moves to punch her, Harper puts himself in the middle.
That's an opposed agility roll.
Can Thaddeus assist?
Which one?
Yeah.
Lucky.
He said punch the shit out of
He's
that
going to
kid.
assist Harper.
Okay, yep. Make an agility roll. Every success and raise gives Harper +1.
I got a 5.
5.
7.
Well, then it would be a tie, but Thaddeus, you stop it. Who wants to take it?
I got something. As Abel is loading that second punch and starting to lean forward, Harper stands up and puts himself in the middle, but he's not quite fast enough to put himself directly between Abel and Reno. And I think that Thaddeus maybe reaches over and pulls Reno to the side.
Actually, I had this moment once as a little 4th grade boy, Marshall on the school bus. There was a kid throwing a punch at the little kid next to me. I reached out. I snatched him by the wrist.
I was going to do that with my metal arm.
Well, you got him by the arm and he slipped past. So he was
Gotcha.
about to catch it. And so we were both going for the same thing. We're brothers,
Cool.
you know? We had the idea. And together we've got him.
Then as you're distracted, Harper, make a notice roll. Lucky and Ellis, you can also make a notice roll at -2. And Reno's going to make a thievery roll.
I rolled a 16.
She rolled snake eyes. Reno, with her snake eyes, then gets Harper's gun out of its holster, but then fumbles it to the floor of the stagecoach.
I think Harper just puts one foot on top of it, then starts to push her away. He's got his steel arm on Abel's collar and then his other arm on Reno's and kind of pushes them both up against the wall.
Hannibal is moaning in his seat, clutching his nose, letting out a soft moaning, almost a cry. Reno screams over Harper at her father.
At least Hiram stayed, Abel.
Harper, let go. Daddies, get the fuck out of my way.
Sit your ass back down.
If you ever touch my brother again, I will fucking kill you.
Why can't this family just sit in peace for once?
What fucking family?
There's not much of us left. That's why we rescued you in the first place. The crows are a dying flock.
Looks to me like they're fucking dead.
You ain't wrong.
Not yet. You and your brother. You're our last hope.
Fuck off.
That's why we saved you. That's why we rescued you from that fucking prison.
Why did he save us then?
Because deep down, he cares too.
Bullshit.
I would not have had the courage to do that, to strike him, if I did not care for you and your outcome.
The fucking courage?
Sit the fuck down. You're gonna go to the bullseye. You're gonna take a different life. I ain't showing up again.
Listen, Reno, I understand where you're coming from here, okay? If we were kids in your position and we had people telling us what to do, our gut reaction would be to do the exact opposite. But I'm coming to you as your uncle. We're not trying to tell you what to do. We're not trying to force you how to live your life. We just want you to have a different outcome than we did. That's all. Now, Ellis takes off his mask slowly. I don't see why we just don't tell them the truth here, boys. Why we gotta be so secretive. Their own flesh and blood, and they gotta learn eventually.
They don't have to learn, Lucky says as he nurses
They're
Hannibal's
gonna learn
face.
the easy way or the hard way. Ellis takes off the mask.
What do they see?
I mean, he looks
Handsome. He's back to normal.
he looks like a corpse, man. He looks paler than even someone who's really sick, almost like a gray color. The capillaries in his eyes still have like a touch of that black, oily substance.
The self-named Clanton twins make fear rolls. They both fail.
Oh boy.
They did.
All right.
Here we go.
Remember the last time somebody failed a fear roll?
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
No, I
Harper?
don't.
Harper, do you remember?
They both have a +2 to this roll on account of the fear level of Arizona. I'm rolling a d20 for each. On a 22, which would be a natural 20, is a heart attack.
Why do you sound happy about that?
Because they made a table for it, man. It's awesome.
I get to roll d20s.
All right, roll one at a time.
Imagine if Hannibal had a heart attack right now.
Oh, God.
Oh, I would love it.
No, dude.
I would
Is
love
Hannibal
it.
prone to heart attacks?
First is Reno. That's a 19.
Oh, my God.
Goddamn.
That's like
Goddamn.
more than a major phobia, right?
It's dancing with fire.
Ellis,
That's not good.
what minor phobia do you impart upon your niece, Reno?
It's either got to be like people wearing masks.
I like masks quite a bit.
Okay.
Let's do that. Reno gains a minor phobia of masks.
That's not that bad.
That's terrible.
But
what
also,
are you talking
like,
about?
not that
she
bad.
can't
She's
go to
abandoned.
any parties, man. What do
Yeah.
you-
No Halloween
Halloween's
parties.
ruined. It's ruined.
Now for Hannibal.
Oh boy.
15.
There's a steal.
Hannibal's frightened. He gains the hesitant hindrance for the remainder of the encounter. Hannibal just straightens up in his chair. Lucky, you can feel him tense, and for the rest of the scene, he is not becoming untensed as you doctor his broken nose. Reno goes crawling back into her seat, yelling a few obscenities.
What happened to your face?
I think Ellis just kind of looks around the stagecoach real fast. Listen, you asked earlier about that teleportation. That's black magic. The devil is 100% real. Hell is 100% real. If you do that kind of shit, you're going to hell. I died. I went to hell, and then I made a pact with a demon to come back. The world is currently being conquered by a group of powerful demons called the Reckoners.
All right, settle down,
No,
Ellis.
that's right. And I have made several deals similar to Ellis's. However, mine are more beneficial to myself than some of the baggage he's kept up,
Debatable.
as you can see with his face.
Still better than yours.
The most horrifying thing about this situation to Reno and Hannibal is not the words you're saying, it is the casual manner in which you are approaching it. Both of them clam up. Their mouths might as well be sewn shut, and they shrink back into their seats in obvious horror.
Whoa, hey, hold on. You don't want me to explain? This was what you were asking about. He told you.
You want the truth?
The way that it works, I do play cards. I play a hand. And the other person at my table, a demon from the spirit world, or hell. And they lose to me, and they give me my power, in which I cast a spell, a hex.
So that is why we saved you from that prison.
Oh, and we're not quite done. Harper, why don't you elaborate on your state of fuckedness?
Harper sits back down. He's been standing in the center of the stagecoach trying to keep everybody apart this entire time. Sits down, leans back, puts his head up against the back of the coach and just looks exhausted. Well, when we were trying to kill the thing that killed our ma, I saw my own arm attempt to kill me. And in a panic, I shot it off. And some goddamn hellish monsters tore my eye out of my fucking skull. And Harper kind of looks over at Abel tired, and then looks over towards the kids. He raises that mechanical arm and opens it and closes it. I live in constant agony. I can still feel my fucking arm. Feels like it's on fire.
Abel in that big hat swiveled to just stare at Lucky meaningfully, expectantly.
Jesus Christ, guys. I think the point's been made. Look at them.
Yeah. So I am sorry that I did not expose you to all this, but we are the bright fucking shining light pushing all that back. So if you can't handle me, what the fuck are you gonna do out there in the real world? So scamper on to the fucking bullseye while we burn a hole through whoever killed our ma.
Ellis gets up. Now, there aren't very many people you can trust in this world. But family means something still, right? He walks over to Reno. He lifts up his duster and removes his pistol that he still has, the tiger one. And I flip it around so the handle's facing Reno, and I reach out.
She calmly reaches out a hand that's shaking and grasps it.
Whatever happens, you and your brothers stick together. Just try to do the right thing.
Reno sits back in her seat, clutching the pistol in both hands, examining it.
Yeah, I think that's where we all messed up. We all tried to do it alone. And it didn't go so well.
Seems to me like it all went wrong the second all of us met up. Listen, you two, don't do this because your pa told you to. Do this because it's right for you. Look at us. You don't want to tread in our footprints. Just live your own damn life.
And I know every fiber of your being is saying that your dad is still an asshole. And you're completely right.
Hannibal leans forward, heart pumping, audible gulp, turns to Thaddeus and says,
Well, I better know how poker works.
Well, yeah, I suppose, I could teach you a couple of rules.
What else do they do at the casino?
Blackjack.
Blackjack, 7-card stud.
7-card.
The coachman riding the Crow Boys south rides through the night. I think much conversation does not happen after the night's reveals, but the stagecoach rides through the storm and out of it. And by the time that daylight breaks, there's only a light trickle that falls upon the stagecoach. The wheels are still caked in mud. There's one point where the stagecoach comes to a halt and the driver knocks off the mud and the crows stretch their legs. I don't think much conversation occurs the rest of the way south. I'm not sure how many days it takes, maybe a day or two to reach the Bayou Vermilion rail line. The town that the stagecoachman has brought you to at Ellis's behest is a little town called Portal, Arizona. A small sign greets you on the trail as you come in from the north. The biggest feature about this town is that in the middle of these flat plains, there's suddenly a pine forest again, calling back to the witch's forest in season 2, surrounding a lone mountain peak. Sticking out of the Arizona flat landscape, a single mountain with a tree line and everything. You can see the top, the stony, naked peak, and then down below it, this tree line into which Portal, Arizona is nestled. There's not even a proper stop here. There's just a water tower, a water refueling station for the steam engines that come by. Would you all help me build this town? I think this is going to be where we're going to spend the current session in, and if you guys choose to ambush Crane's train, this is also probably the town that you would base that out of.
It's not a choice. It's a conclusion, you know?
Crane's train is about 3 or 4 days out from coming through this rail line. We didn't talk about it on camera, but off screen, Ellis, you hired the stagecoachman to bring you to a town that was on the rail line that heads from Tombstone to El Paso, and this is that line. Starting with Marshall, could you tell me one feature about this town that you want to establish? What feature of this town forces it to be compact? Like, why is everything about this town so clustered together?
I've been watching a lot of primitive tool building videos recently, and I just recently watched a video on how Sauron didn't know about the Shire and why. So I think that they're all compact because they're all built into the hillside and the slope of the mountain itself. So while they look compact on the outside, they do have the full space of a regular sized building on the inside. They're all just dug in like 5 feet into the soil around them.
Great. So we've established that this is the Shire.
The Arizona Shire.
Alex, what makes this town different from the Shire?
Well, for one, it's in, 1880s, or is it 1890
Wow,
or 1880s?
1880s. You're done. You don't have to describe anything else.
1880s America, for
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that
There's
is
also no hobbits, just
No.
regular people here.
Interesting. Bold choice.
That's one thing there. Why was it founded? Like, why did they choose to build a fucking city here on this mountain?
Yeah, so railroads, and then also water runs off the mountain. They can grow some stuff here.
Oh, can I also add a water mill, like a water wheel in there?
There's a water wheel. Perfect. Yeah.
Wow.
So Marshall's done 2 things.
I got 2 guys.
and
Get
you've
fucked.
It's a water wheel.
You've done nothing, Alex. Just not that we're keeping score, but
Well,
So it's a river going through here.
Wow.
looks like I've established there's a river here, Caleb. You son of a
Take
bitch.
that, you idiot.
Fucking idiot. And also crops sprouting out of the middle of the fucking desert, apparently, which is pretty crazy. I don't know what they're growing, but yeah, it probably looks like a oasis of sorts, right?
yeah.
Got this runoff from the mountain. You got all these crops, all this green. It's surrounded by all this just brown and drab, arid badlands.
I picture, like, if you're looking at it from an aerial point of view, right? Like
a crow's eye view.
from a crow's eye view, as it were. And if you're following the train into town, the first thing it hits, I think, are some massive citrus orchards. Citrus is huge product of Arizona. Thank you, Alchemist. And big orchards that flank the tracks. So the train goes through these orchards. So you have all this, and then it goes through these fields that start to get mixed in, and then it gets closer and closer to the town where things
Probably
get
has a
greener.
Really
and-
nice fragrance coming from it. You
Yeah.
can smell that citrus.
And also, I want a fucking gun battle in an orchard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Ooh,
that
that
does
would be
sound
cool.
pretty cool.
That's where we're going to launch our fight from.
Hell yeah.
Citrus orchard near tracks.
River.
River in the middle of the fields.
River and crops.
This is right before they harvest too, right? It's in the
It's
fall.
harvest time.
They
It's
harvest in the winter.
time.
Oh, that means this town is going to be packed with
Children.
migrant workers and
that
children.
die.
Which would be a perfect time for a politician to come through
Oh,
and
yeah.
say hello to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all are harvesting the crops right outside the train? Well, shit, I'll just roll up and talk to you for a little bit.
Maybe they're even having like a festival.
Let me show you all my Franks.
Yeah, what
Don't
if
worry,
he,
I'm going to let them out of the
he could
cattle
just straight
cars
up be
real
like,
quick.
hey, go get those oranges for them.
Maybe that's why
Oh,
those,
Save them
shit.
some
those
time.
Dutch bastards were celebrating too. Who knows?
Yeah. Harvest time.
Harvest time.
There are Franks.
Sacrifices to the
Fucking
Wicker
cattle
Man.
cars.
Cameron Day, what would you like to add to this town, Portal, Arizona?
You guys have already added all the cool stuff.
I can ask you a pointed question.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't Lucky want to live here?
No reason. He wants to live here. Cameron Day wants to live here. Portal looks sweet. Lucky doesn't want to live there because there's always an abnormal amount of ravens flying through the air.
And they always seem to be circling the mountain. I think everybody else is looking at the harvest festivities that are going on, and you're noticing almost like the rings of Saturn to Lucky, just a black circle surrounding the lone mountain.
Can't be all citrus oranges, you know. We got to kill a man here.
Cameron Reed, you should also establish a negative fact about this place. So let's say if you in your bounty hunter days, Harper, were going to ambush someone in this place, why would you think that's a bad idea?
It's too easy to ambush somebody here. Not enough of a challenge.
It's too obvious.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
There are certain things that Cameron could say that would be worse reasons not to ambush here than others.
Explosives don't work here for some reason.
Yeah, explosives don't work here. Some secret missile silo by some mad scientist is here. There's volatile chemicals everywhere. That sounds fucking
Did you look
bad.
at my notes, dude?
No, we left that place behind, all right?
I think because of the way that they are watering their crops, there are canals that run right next to the train track on either side, which is where they run the water to the crops. So if you were like riding horses, you would have to somehow get them across that canal before you could get to the train tracks.
Cool. Canals. You can have a Benny for that.
That's a very cool visual. Yeah.
That is really cool.
That means we can drown Crane too.
Yeah, you guys
That means
look at this Benny.
That would be
I
also
earned this.
very dope. We just tie him to a rope, throw him over the side, and let him drag in the water.
Isaac,
Damn.
can you also get a Benny for your interaction with the kids? I think that was tough.
Oh, wait, he just took a prominence chip.
Are those still on the table?
He's never seen one before.
And you looked at
And
it.
you
What was
looked at
that?
it.
What was
You just
that?
peeked at it. He's just like,
Nothing.
oh, well, I'm holding it. I'll just take a peek.
Since when did we have
it's empty.
Providence chips on the table
Just
again?
cheater.
I realized we did it in season 4. So, like, they're on the table if you guys want them. I
Providence
think,
chips are the coolest.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you can establish something more powerful than a Benny. A Benny is like, I remembered to bring a rope. A Providence chip could be like,
Oh, wow. Crane has no bodyguards.
yeah, could be something like that.
Can I flip one to just have him die of dysentery?
Ooh.
I think that's allowed.
If it's a
Caleb.
crow, all the crow boys die.
All?
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah.
That was the most.
That's a good choice.
I just heard myself peak so loud.
We could end it
I've
right
never done
now.
it before.
So there's a
Just right now.
You could end it
Done.
right now.
We could just play Twilight Imperium.
There's
Yeah,
a 75%
You know what?
chance that we just
I'm not
win.
100% opposed to that.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
a real offer.
Yeah, the
That's
odds
a
are
real
actually
offer.
in
I
our
don't think
favor.
that is.
What an ending that would be too if you flipped that.
You
crow.
could win Savage Worlds. You could win Sounds Like Crows.
Well,
I did it.
Is that the right one?
We
I don't
did
know
it.
what that is.
Okay.
Crow's dead.
I guess we win.
So Crane's gonna show up as a Harrowed, and he's just gonna be
no.
constantly shitting because that's his
listen to
death
that.
wound, right?
You hear that?
It's just
Cool.
a stream of shit.
You hear that, audience?
no.
Fucking
So
plot
cool.
armor for Crane
That's
here, am I
his
right?
death wound.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
shits himself to
That's
He's
death.
got a
canon.
second
Bunch of
form.
times.
The stagecoach comes to a halt in Portal, Arizona. This mountain with its raven accoutrement in the background as Ellis pays the driver $25. He fucks off to a tavern or something to get a drink before he tries to find another fare. This was out of his regular range, but obviously he just paid him. $25 is how much in 1880?
$725.
Yeah, so that's a good pay for him. Yeah, you guys find yourself in Portal, Arizona. You got a few days. I think you guys probably head to someone to talk about train tickets. There's not a station or platform, but there still is someone that sells them here. Who do we think that is? Because I think it's shared with another business.
Probably do it at like the bank.
That's cool. So the rugged crow boys, muddy from the road, come into the bank. You talk to the teller for a few minutes, and he tells you there's a train coming west within the next few hours. And once that train passes by, there's a train going east in a day, which is the direction of Dodge City. And then a day or two after that, we'll just call it 2 days. So 3 days from now, Crane's train, the flagship, will be coming through Portal.
Is it going to stop here or is it just coming through?
That's unknown. It depends if they need to pick up water or not. Whatever's cooler. Do we want a train fight while it's running or do we want it while it's stopped? The issue I see with it being stopped and why that'd be bad for you guys is as soon as they knew someone was on the train, everyone could disembark and then come around the side of the train to come at you. Like, I think it's better tactically if the train is going because no one will be able to reinforce except through choke points through the train.
Not
Right.
to mention this train is a tank. Like
Right.
literally a tank.
Yeah, I really don't want to attack this train. That feels
Yeah,
bad.
we want to either derail this shit or we want to get on.
True. And we can also get on it because like 6 power points and all 5 of us can get on there, I think.
Oh, just
I
teleport as
might
it's
need
moving.
to use a little bit more, but I could. Like, as long as we don't get gassed before we get there, that is can get us on, off, stop it, keep it going.
I do like the idea of us Nightcrawler.
Bamfing through a window would be pretty sweet.
Then let's say that the train is going to stop for water.
Well, what if there's like a harvest festival here? What politician isn't worth his salt if he doesn't stop to talk to his people, right? And who likes to talk more about themselves than Thomas Crane?
If you want to spend a penny, Thaddeus, there's a harvest festival going on, and the bank teller tells you that it's going to stop for the festival.
We're not fighting for 3 days, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, we can deal with the train combating later. For now, you don't have to worry about it. For 3 more days, Reno and Hannibal can get a train to the east after today, after this train from the west runs on by through the line.
I was kind of hoping I could buy 4 tickets, Caleb.
Oh, yeah, you can buy 4 tickets. Yeah, so let's cut outside the bank then, where everybody's gathered their information. Thaddeus and Harper are like conversing a little bit about the plan, with Lucky and Abel maybe chiming in, and Ellis stayed behind for a moment. Reno and Hannibal are nearby the door, but not nearby the crows. You know, they're like 5 feet away. And Ellis, you walk out into this tableau, this green, grassy place.
I guess Ellis just approaches this flock of crows over here.
You got our tickets?
Yeah, I got the tickets.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Uncle. What's your wife's name?
Eliza.
Eliza. And it's the Lucky Stripe?
It's the bullseye.
Close enough.
She takes both and says,
Should I just tell her we know you, or?
Yeah, just go in. I'm going to send her a telegram later. Let her know you're coming.
If it's all the same to you, I think we're just going to go find a place to drink.
All right. Sounds good. We should probably know where everybody's at.
Whatever bar is near Stagecoach, we're just going to go there.
All right. Sounds good.
And careful when you meet Eliza. She can be a little thorny.
Ominous. All right, thanks.
I got 2 more tickets here too, boys.
And going somewhere?
I got them for you and Harper.
Lucky kind of silently looks at Harper and then back to Ellis. You fucking joking?
Now hear me out. I think there's still hope for you, Lucky.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And you too, Harper.
I'm so sick of this conversation.
You won't have to have it anymore if you would just take these tickets and get on a train to Dodge.
What's the game plan? We just ditch you now? You meet us back later?
Yeah, forget Crane. Go back to Dodge.
Sure.
You can go anywhere you want, Lucky.
Just forget Crane, huh?
Forget Crane.
I mean, the same could be said for you, right?
It's too late for me. My soul is damned.
That's not true. I know there's a way we can get way out of you, pal.
It's
And
not
I'm
just
gonna do
that.
it.
I mean, I've already been to hell, Lucky. Think God's gonna smile upon someone who goes to hell, makes a pact with a demon, comes back? I don't think there's any repenting I can do to make up for that.
Well, shit, we gotta try. And I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna let you die. Again.
I mean, there's a good chance that any one of us could die where we're going next.
Well, shit, there's a good chance any one of us could have died on any of these goddamn trips we went on.
Exactly. And I don't want you or Harp to die with all this sin resting on your shoulders.
You're out your mind if you think that this sin ain't going to be resting on our shoulders in 10 years from now.
You can make up for it.
No, you can't.
What have you done that's so unforgivable, Harp? Name one thing.
There's just a long pause, and we can see a shot of Harper's face. His eye is sunken. He hasn't been sleeping. He just looks so exhausted. Ellis, I took an innocent life. I don't know how y'all don't seem to remember that. I, with y'all, have tallied up the hundreds and hundreds of bodies. I was party to your little plan in the cave of the Upright Gang that slaughtered women and children. I caused the death of my best friend.
Listen, you're being too hard on yourself, Harper.
Oh, you think God ain't gonna be hard on me?
These are all worldly.
Fire and brimstone?
These are all worldly sins, Harper. These can all be forgiven.
Murder can't be forgiven.
Yes, it can.
None of this even matters, because there ain't a chance in hell that I'm gonna let y'all kill Crane without me.
Me neither.
I ain't got nothing else.
Yes, you do.
What? What else I got left?
Harper, do you think that Grace went to hell?
If she didn't, I'm sure as hell not meeting her in heaven.
You can.
I got only one thing left to do, and that's kill Thomas Crane.
Maybe you are too far gone then.
I don't care.
All I can ask is you hold it the fuck together when we do it and don't get all of us killed.
Oh, I won't.
I've worked with men like you before. You're reckless.
I'm reckless?
2 weeks ago, you were holding a gun to your head, Harper.
Hey, that's your brother
It's
you're
not
talking
just your
about.
life on the line here. It's all of us. If you can't keep it together when we're on that train, you could get any one of us killed.
Says the man who jumped off a fucking boat to go fight some goddamn monstrosity in the sea.
It worked out, didn't it?
I guess it did.
What about you, Lucky?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't really give a shit about getting revenge at this point. But I'm not about to leave you guys. I mean, I can't at this point. The rest of my life is going to be you guys. As soon as I'm done with Crane, it's not done for me. I got to find a way to save you. And then after I save you, I got to find a way to fucking get into hell and save Ma. There's got to be something I can do.
Abel looks to Thaddeus. It's the first time in days he hasn't looked at Thaddeus with hate in his eyes. But it's a look of pain for his brother. And for some reason, he looks to Thaddeus for comfort, wondering if he feels that same pain.
He looks over to Thaddeus, who hasn't been making eye contact with him. He sort of looks like he's got a bit of a 1,000-yard stare through the sort of naive attempts of his brother to talk the other ones into leaving at this point. You can see on his face that it does hurt. You know, he sort of sniffles and readjusts himself. If he does look in Abel's direction, a bit of a frown across his face for a moment.
Honestly, Ellis, this is all a waste of your time. If they survive it, then you can try to talk them down after.
I had to try. And I fucking fought that sea monster to save you guys. I was only putting myself at risk, Harper.
You know, that is something, Harper. I don't think you've been taking a moment to appreciate. Sure, we're a bunch of scummy pieces of shit from a certain perspective, but we tried in the best ways we knew how to help you and each other. Sometimes better than others. We're not great, but we didn't leave. Not yet.
I think Harper puts his hand kind of up onto his face and just is rubbing at his eye in frustration. What point are you trying to make, Thaddeus?
I'm just saying, whether you respect it or not, I'm here to help you. If you're not leaving until Crane's dead, I'll be at your side.
Great. Anybody else got anything to say?
All right, Ellis, looks like we're dying. He's just mad throwing a tantrum.
He
ain't got the stones to finish it. So I guess we're just fucked. You just want to complain every time. So
I ain't complaining about shit.
Look, I got some thinking to do, you know? We got an ambush to plan, right?
He sort of looks around himself and pops his collar a little bit and walks off down the street.
Why don't you go get drunk, you fucking piece of shit?
That's the plan, little brother.
Yeah, always is for you, isn't it?
Lucky turns to Ellis. Hey, thanks. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but...
Yeah, I'm sorry you were brought into this, Lucky.
No, I chose to come. And plus now, I can't leave Harp. I can't leave Harp alone ever, I don't think. Thanks anyways, though.
I just hope you make it out of here.
Lucky rubs the rabbit foot on his gun lady. Yeah, me too. You too.
But Thaddeus was right. We gotta make a plan. Anybody got any ideas?
Yeah, I could use a steak. Harp, you want in?
I got a few plans about the train, unless y'all are gonna throw a big fit about it.
Let's have it over dinner.
I got $245 less here in my satchel.
Well, it
That should
sounds
be
like
enough
a
for-
pretty good steak.
Yeah. You planning to need it after 3 days from now?
Nope.
Perfect.
Thanks to Doug and Allie Nesbitt for lending their voices to Hannibal and Reno Clanton. You can find them on their show, RPG for You and Me, rpgforyouandme.com, or wherever you find your podcasts. You can find Allie on Twitter at YouSeeTheHat. I'm Caleb Sunstead, and you can find me on Twitter at MarshallCaleb. You can find Marshall Sims, who played Thaddeus Crow, on Twitter at MrMalicious1. You can find my brother Abel at Abel the Crow on Twitter, Isaac Sunstead. Thanks, man. You can find Alex Horrell, who portrayed Ellis Crow, at Alex Horrell on Twitter. Lucky Luciana Crow was played by Cameron Day. You can find him on our Discord server. And then Cameron Reed played Daisy Crow, Harper Crow. You can find him on Twitter at CJReed211. Thank you to Alexandria Machen, our executive producer, for making this show possible. Thanks, Alex. You can find her on Twitter at Alexandria Machen. Thanks to Gary Oswald for consultation on this episode. That's our show. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next Monday.